the next thing we're going to do to our image is add some decorations to the big tree. So it'll look something like this. What I've done in real life is I've just taken a piece of transparent paper, drawn on it with some marker, which originally looked like this, and then I cut it out so it would cover just the tree. To recreate that in Photoshop, we can do something really cool called apply to layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new blank layer by going to this icon, which says create a new layer. Let's rename it Tree Big Decorations. And now we're going to drag it so it's just directly above the tree. Now I can go to my brush tool and select a red color, just like that. With my paintbrush tool, I'm just going to paint over this. Here, I'll make it a little smaller by using my bracket keys. Just paint over this, like that. And now we're going to add some ornaments. Remember, I can change the size of my brush by using the bracket keys on my keyboard, or I can go up here and adjust the brush size. Let's add some purple ornaments to match our construction paper tree. And that looks incredible. Now we want to make this layer with all of the painted decorations visible only where we can see that big tree. We're going to use a trick called apply to layer. So I could alternatively go to my eraser tool by clicking E and just try to erase the edges to try to match. But it would be really difficult to get that perfect. And I want it to be perfect, so I'll undo those. What we're going to do is have this big tree decorations layer selected, click Alt on your keyboard, drag your mouse over where you see that line in between the layers, and you'll get this icon that pops up. This is the Apply to Layer icon. Click, and now you see a change here. It has that little arrow pointing down to that layer, and it's indented. You can see the changes that have taken place on the actual document as well. So I'll undo it by Alt-clicking again. Just redo, undo, so you can see the changes that have been made. Now, the layer with the painted decorations is only visible on the tree layer. If you zoom in real close, you can see it is exactly to the edge. This is a really cool trick in Photoshop because a lot of times you want to make adjustments to an isolated part of your image or just one layer, and you want to make sure that it doesn't go past that. If I wanted to apply an image to another image, let's say I moved my rainbow down here, over here, and I want to only see the rainbow where I see this cloud. I could apply it to the cloud, and now same thing, the edges are right on the edge of this layer. If I undo that, you can see the layer as it is, reapply it to the layer, now it's there. Now you can apply multiple images to one layer. So now I have this one applied to this layer. Let's say I wanted to bring my little tree down here and also apply it to the cloud layer. I can drag it over the cloud so it's visible. And now do the same thing. Click Alt, go in between the layers, click, apply to layer, and now this tree and the rainbow are applied to just the big cloud. Both of the edges stop exactly where the cloud stops. To undo that, just Alt-click again in between the layers and drag them back to where you want them to be. The cool thing about this is I didn't actually have to go and take my original layer and cut it out, right? There's no changes to my original layer of decorations. So if I wanted to go back and make some adjustments, it's still here, fully intact. I could then say, actually, I wanted to move this over a little bit. Alt-click to apply to layer. I can make changes just like that. without actually doing any destructive editing. Now another type of layer in Photoshop, rather than having an image layer, you can have an adjustment layer that will make some type of adjustment to everything below it, but it'll show up just as a regular layer. Over here we can access our adjustment layers panel, or if you don't see it, go to Window, Adjustments. Now let's say that I wanted to change the color of my rainbow. I can go to this hue saturation adjustment and make a change. So let's say I wanted to bring the hue over here, make it kind of look kind of weird, just like that. I wanted to bring the saturation up as well, make it super bright. You can see that because this hue saturation layer is at the very top of my list, it is affecting everything below it. If I drag it downward, just above the rainbow, it'll only affect the rainbow, the big cloud, and the blue sky. I want it to only affect the rainbow, so I can use the same technique applied to layer by clicking Alt, clicking in between the layers, and now this adjustment layer only changes my rainbow. We're going to get way into adjustment layers later on in the course, but I just wanted to show you real quick how apply to layer can be used in a different way.